Thought being that like the whole point of automotive testing in my mind and having people, whether it's, in a car or on a bench or whatever it is the actual human interaction, the actual user experience portion. And if you have a robot arm sitting there pressing buttons, it might take an average, you might have some data that someone collected that allows it to kind of fake it or automate it, right? But the human factor is gone. And if we have a group of people that are all from different walks of life, the user experience and just general ergonomics, like all these things that someone is going to be like, yep, that's exactly where I thought it would be. And another person would be like, I can't find this, where is it? Like those factors are going to be not there, or at least not there in a natural way with a robot and programming. It's like having real physical people, driving cars, pushing buttons, all those things. Everyone's going to feel and experience the cars and the equipment differently, which is why you need a variety of people to do it. So automation is great and can be used for a bunch of things, but I think when it comes to the actual tactile experience of the car, there's zero replacement for having a real human being, and not just a real human being, but a variety of different people. Someone that knows a ton of stuff about cars and engineering, like that's great, and then some people that know absolutely nothing about cars and engineering other than that they drive it every day. Because that person's going to notice things that the engineer's never going to notice, and vice versa, and that's where you get the gamut of information from. Is you have to have that spread, you have to have that differentiation. Is it logical? Does it make sense? How does it feel? Whereas as a human, like you can figure it out and like, it works, I know where to go, but like what do you think about it? What's your experience? The robot's not going to have an experience, it's not going to have a feeling, it's not going to have an opinion in that way. It's going to be like, yep, it works. And for certain type of testing where you have a button, we got to sit there and press that button 1,000 times. Okay, a robot can sit there and press the button 1,000 times. Like that makes sense to me. But if you're actually trying to figure out, whether or not the system works or it's going to crash or whatever, like that's great. But the actual experience of a human being, and also a human being pressing things at human being speeds, something with smartphones that I think kind of taken for granted nowadays, or people don't think about, is the instant gratification of genuinely think about how quickly you access your smartphone, like from screen to screen to screen to screen. Like you go actually really fast, and when you get a loading screen or something's buffering or it takes a second for it to open, even though it's literally like 1 second, it feels like forever. And so when you're going into the car and you're accessing these menus, the robot, you can program the robot to do it at any speed, but the human factor of certain people will access certain things at different speeds as well, because it's your brain being able to calculate, navigate, recognize the screen, change to here, find out where the button is, then press the button. So you've got grandma in there going at that speed, and then you have anybody that's 35 or younger is probably like going as quick as possible. And if there's lag in the screen, or this takes a second, or you press a button and it doesn't do anything for a few milliseconds, they're going to notice that. The robot can measure the amount of time in the delays and things, but it doesn't have an opinion, because you'll see in the data, it's this many milliseconds to load this page.
But is it okay?
It's milliseconds, that's fast, but in real, like, how does it feel? Does it feel choppy or glitchy or delayed or whatever it is? And to actually have that human factor, I think is hugely important in automotive testing. Even something more like, I got to charge my car. From the second how to open the door, the door comes open. A lot of these electric cars now have like an automatic opening mechanism and stuff like that. What's that interface like? Actually inserting the charger into the car, how long does it take for the car to register with the charger and the system in the car to turn on the, all that stuff is user experience based. Like, okay, I can see these lights are on, which means the car's connected, or these lights aren't on, or this makes a noise, or that makes a noise. Like, there's so many little things, because every manufacturer's doing it differently now too. But like, that should be a human thing. So see what that experience is like, and how it works, and if it works. Because even then, there's certain cars where you go to open and close that door, and same thing, there's a delay, or it's not easy to find where you press to open it or anything like that. And I think having real human beings is still hugely important, which is of course what we do in our service providing. Like, we have people, we have engineers, we have testers, we have technicians, we have analysts, like all these things that are people that are actually there with stuff in their hands, on the ground, in the car, experiencing things for real. And I think that's the most important part of this business.